guys, this is Comic Uno and Comic Frontline, and today I'm doing Comic Uno episode 113. And this is a show where I review all the comics I read this week in one show, so we go worst pick of the week to best pick of the week and everything in between. And this week I had 13 books, so it's pretty much a relatively short pile this week. It seems like the rest of September I'm going to have a really short pile, and then October will explode, so with a lot of titles, so look forward to that. But let's start talking about the comics for this week. So let's start with number 13. What was my worst pick of the week? And that was, surprisingly enough, Spider Island issue 4. So mostly this is on the bottom, not for the Spider-Girl story, but for the Spider Island story. I do think the series has gotten really cheesy, has gotten really I guess extended to the point where I don't think this series needed 5 issues. This doesn't really progress that much. It's them finally fighting the Spider Queen, and then, oh no, she's not defeated because she becomes really big instead, and I don't know, it just feels like this series in general has become really cheesy. It's like kind of like the Power Rangers, and the Power Rangers are cheesy, but a good type of cheesy. But yeah, it's like the Power Rangers moment where you have the small villain, and then, oh no, I'm defeated, but I become giant. So I thought that was a really weird moment. It felt so Power Rangers. And yeah, the artwork is just kind of generic. It's not bad artwork, but it's also not great artwork. Like, there's this moment where Spider-Man looks really sinister, and he's, like, smiling really sinisterly, but really he's not supposed to. So that's also, like, a little knock on the artwork. But yeah, the story is just feeling really, really cheesy. That's the best way to put it. But talking about the Spider-Girl story, this is actually one of the better out of the 5-page Spider-Girl stories. And I think Tom DeFalco and Ron Frenz are able to tell so much story in only 5 pages. And that's definitely proving something. And really, it's showing what May can be. So Hope Van Dyne is the villain, and she wants to defeat all the Avengers. And the reason she wants this is to have revenge on her parents who died as Avengers. And now she's controlling Cassie, who is Ant-Man's, Scott Lang's daughter, to kill Scott. And then, May, through this issue, is able to kind of redeem herself and say, I have to forgive myself, and I have to stop being so angry, because that's not what my father would have wanted. So she's starting to realize and be the May that we know. So she sees that Cassie's about to kill her father and say, no, you don't want this. This will ruin your life. So, again, only 5 pages, but explains so much story and has so much good character depth. Really good story, and good artwork, too, by Ron Frenz. Just very classic artwork. So, good story for Spider-Girl, not so much Spider Island, and that's what brought this book really down. So, Spider Island issue 4 gets 2.5 stars. And it got the half because of Spider-Girl. Alright, moving on to number 12, which is all new Hawkeye issue 5. I wasn't totally impressed with this one, and the way the arc ended. First of all, I haven't really been impressed with this run so far. The first issue was good. It's like, oh cool, we're seeing parallels with Clint's past and the present now. And then it just kind of gets repetitive. And the artwork for the past is really, really light. And it's hard to concentrate on exactly what's going on in each panel. So I wish, yeah, I like the watercolors, but I wish it was a bit darker, the watercolors. So that's a bit of a negative to the past. And here, the story we get to see is that Kate wants to protect the children. Clint realizes that they're bad and gives them a way to aim for some reason. Not shield, aim. And Kate gets upset and kind of runs off, and it doesn't seem like she's going to forgive Clint. And then we see the future Clint, who's just kind of lying around and not doing anything. And then Kate comes to say, hey, we gotta save the children. We made a terrible mistake. So this is like older versions of them. So we'll see how that works out. It's very much Lemire's style art, which I really don't like that much. So yeah, I did not like the artwork for this future story, and I think that's going to be what we're seeing next with the next series. And yeah, like I said, the only artwork that I like is the present arc, but even the facial expressions are a bit weird. It's always like these O faces, always shocked. So yeah, even here, like their side profile doesn't look that great. So, yeah, the artwork could be a little better with the facial expressions, but the present artwork is a bit better than the other styles, in my opinion. So, yeah, I thought it could have been better. I kind of hate this back and forth of Kate running away and Clint saying, no, don't run away, and them always being in arguments. I don't think we've actually gotten enough issues where we actually see their friendship, or enough issues where they're really concentrating on Kate. It's always Clint's story, you know, and, I don't think Kate's been around long enough to not concentrate on her, especially, like, seeing Clint's past. Like, we know Clint's past, but we really don't know Kate's past. It's only really been touched upon on very few issues, so why not tell her story? But now we're going to the future stories. I don't even know where it's going to go. But yeah, I wasn't really impressed with this issue. So All New Hawkeye gets 3 stars, and that's issue 5. And that's number 12 on the list. Number 11 is Spider-Verse issue 5. This is a disappointing ending, and I will say I really enjoyed Spider-Verse, the first issue. It was actually my pick of the week. And then as the series went on, it kept kind of going lower and lower down the list, because with this issue, it's the gang defeating Norman, and that's pretty much it. And then the ending is how the fans feel, too, and the reader, because the ending's like, oh, we defeat Norman. Now what? And that's how I felt. It's like, we read that you defeated Norman. Now what? Like, the ending felt just really unsatisfying. And this issue had less of the chemistry here. Like, they had some good jokes, like Spider-Ham had some awesome jokes here. But the actual story was just kind of lackluster. And also the artwork really brings it down. A lot of times I was able to look over it when the story was that great. But here is just such lackluster story. It's kind of hard to look over the art also. It's very simple type artwork. It just was not my style. I kind of wish there was a lot more detail. It was very felt, I mean, even though all comics are hand-drawn, it just kind of felt even more like simplified, hand-drawn type artwork. Even the coloring kind of looked hand-drawn. Well, again, all artwork is, but I don't know. It just felt very simple, the artwork. So, Spider-Verse issue 5 gets 3 stars. And that's number 11. Moving on to number 10, which is Agent Carter, issue 1. Wish this was a bit higher, because the 50th years, or 50 years of S.H.I.E.L.D. anniversary issues have been really good, and both issues have been on my top 5. So I was expecting Agent Carter to be on my top 5, but this is just an okay, fun issue. It's Agent Carter being tested by S.H.I.E.L.D., fighting alongside Lady Sif, and we find out it's just a test, and Lady Sif was all in it, and Agent Carter gets upset for like a minute, and then she goes off, she found a new friend, and they're gonna go drink and have a fun time. So yeah, it's a fun story, but also not a totally necessary story. I feel like the other ones had a bit more heart, a bit more about their past, and it was really a good jumping on point for those characters. Here, it wasn't really a jumping on point for Peggy. It was just like kind of this fun story that was a bit forgettable at the same time. But the artwork is pretty good, pretty fitting artwork for Agent Carter. I think they've used this artist before for Operation Sin, so it fits. So Agent Carter, issue 1 for me, gets 3.5 stars. It's a bit forgettable, but if you're a fan of the character, I think it's worth picking up. Alright, moving on to number 9, which is Van Helsing Vs Dracula, issue 2. And I like this issue. It was pretty good. I'm not a hardcore Van Helsing fan. I don't love the character that much, but I like what Pat Chan's been doing, and I like this mini-series so far. And with this issue, it's Van Helsing seeing exactly if she could trust Hades, her boyfriend, learning a bit more about her other friend's girlfriend, who's kind of turning into a vampire, but kind of not, and finally Van Helsing's first encounter with Dracula, and literally being terrified of him. So what I liked about this issue was kind of exploring the relationships, Van Helsing's relationship with Dracula, Van Helsing's relationship with her boyfriend and where they stand, and then her partner or friend's girlfriend who's become a vampire and how he feels about that. And the artwork is really good. Sorry, I read it digitally, so I can't show it to you guys, but the artwork's really well done, and I thought the emotion was especially shown in those last few pages. The thing I don't like about this series is honestly the vampire world of Zenescope. I've never been totally interested, because they're very evil, so they don't have a redeeming quality. They're always just there to stake, and that's it. They have a little less of a character. And very, very similar to Buffy. Like, even though you have very few vampires that actually have a soul, you don't really get that in the Zenescope universe. They're all just kind of there to fight, and a lot of them are just there to be, like, you know, putties. I don't know why I keep mentioning Power Rangers, but putties for Power Rangers, you know, just there to punch. And so I think they kind of need to expand the vampire world a little bit more in the monster world. So that's something that I think needs improvement. So that's number 9, I think. So let's move on to number 8. Yes, number 8, which is Prez, issue 4, which I'm kind of upset this made number 8. It usually makes my top 5, but this issue I felt was a little bit more cluttered. There's a lot going on, and it was a little less of our main character. Our main character is still getting used to being president, and, you know, having an app that could be a taser, and having an app that's also could be a nuclear bomb, and also her dealing with real-life situations of America's robots killing people, innocent people, and, you know, her trying to figure out what the right thing is to do, because the rest of the government's like, oh, well, we need to show we have power. So, again, it's very real world. It's very much a commentary on American politics, which I love about this book. It's a very smart book, and in the end, it's still the president deciding, or, you know, our main character deciding, like, I don't know what to do in this situation. You don't want to seem small and weak, but at the same time, you don't want to kill innocent people. So is there a medium? What do I do? Especially when, like, kind of the devil's speaking in your ear with these congressmen. So, I mean, that's the refreshing take of the series, is seeing this innocent person try to take over this corrupted government. And it's even, you know, even more corrupted in this version of the book. So, in this future society of America. So, I think it's interesting. It makes a lot of things that are happening hypered. So, and seeing how she deals with stuff. So, that's what I enjoy about Prez. And also, I thought the artwork was a bit cleaner here. I really enjoyed the artwork. So, that's something that I thought was a big improvement from the book. But then, like I said, there's a lot of cluttered stuff, which I understand they're trying to make commentary on things. Like, there's this Monopoly guy. He literally has a monopoly on a lot of things. He's winning all these Oscars. He has control of the media. He has control of, I think he's also an oil person. He has control of everything. And there's that side story of that, but I'm like, yeah, it's necessary to tell, but I feel like I'd rather focus on the president, because she's the main character. And I thought it was a bit cluttered because of it. So, Prez issue 4 gets 3.5 stars. Still a very well done book, but this issue felt a bit more cluttered than past issues. There's a lot going on. Alright, so now we're moving on to number 7. Which is Martian Manhunter, issue 4. And I'm actually surprised this is so high, but I'm going to say it here. I'm still very confused by the series, but there's something I like about it. Because we get to see that we have the detective who is, I think, Martian Manhunter, and kind of a side, this Biscuit side is just kind of illusion. I don't even know if the girl knows Biscuits. I don't know. I think it's always been the detective. That's why I saw her here. And then there's this girl who we find out who's this spy that we've seen in previous issues, who might be a Martian also, and her discovering this and not knowing it. So I feel like she's M'gann. I think she's the M'gann of the New 52, which makes me excited, because we haven't seen Miss Martian in the New 52 or the New 52 universe, because it's not the New 52 anymore, but the New 52 universe. So that's exciting. And yeah, I mean, I think some of it's starting to make sense a bit more, even though it's still really psychedelic, this series, and this page just shows that. It's still a really interesting book, and I'm still, like, interested in the mystery of, like, who the hell Martian Manhunter actually is, and what's not happening, what is happening. And it ends on this really cool existentialist quote, which I love, which is one of my favorites, and it says, two possibilities either exist, or two possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe, or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. Love that quote, and I thought it was a great ending to the issue. So again, like, I kind of like the confusion of the book, but at the same time, I hope they explain some stuff soon, because I think that's going to start getting frustrating. But there are a lot of aspects I like about it, and the artwork is beautiful for the series. So that's a big factor of the book also. So I'm going to give Martian Manhunter 3.5 stars. I thought it was a pretty good issue, but hopefully things will be explained as the arc ends. Alright, so let's move on to number 6. Which is Injustice Gods Among Us issue 10. And I thought this was a bit of an improvement, because I think as Injustice Gods Among Us Year 4 has continued, it's gotten a bit lackluster and losing direction once again, because there's too many issues of this book. But when this book is good, it's good. And this issue focuses on Harley Quinn, one of the Amazons, and the Millie Batson being in this hell-like world. And then Harley just going batshit crazy in the whole issue, being Harley Quinn, trying to get them out of hell, and it's so much fun. It really is. And then she ends up controlling the Mother Box, and Harley has the fate of this war in her hand, and Batman finds that out, and no one really knows what to do next. So that's pretty much the whole issue, but there is other parts where we get to see where the war is going, but that doesn't really move as quickly, because really the ending's about everyone finds out that Harley has the Mother Box, and what does that exactly mean? But yeah, the best parts of this issue were definitely the Harley Quinn parts, and it's pretty much half the issue, and the artwork is really well done for this series, like I've been saying. Great action. So overall, I'm going to give Injustice Gods Among Us 4 stars. One of the best parts of this series is Harley, so it's great to see that she was concentrated in this book. The slower part is the actual war. I thought that could have been improved a bit more, but hopefully we'll see a lot more progression in issue 11 and 12. So I'll give Injustice Gods Among Us 4 stars, and that's number 6. Alright, now we're moving on to number 5. And number 5 is Wonder Woman, issue 44. Yes, Wonder Woman made my top 5. I really enjoyed this issue. First of all, I'm going to talk about the artwork, because I think the artwork has been improving a lot. That's been kind of my negative, is that it's really dark, but I think it's been improving, especially with Fitch's characters that he's already drawn a lot. Like, some of the guy characters could have been drawn a bit better, like this last page. But, like, characters like Diana and Donna that Finch has been drawing throughout these issues have been improving with every issue. So that's something I really enjoyed. And I really enjoyed this issue because we get to see this kind of realistic, grounded story with Wonder Woman and Donna. Donna just going to London and not knowing anything, and you know, she's new to life in general, and then she saves one of her sisters, you know, because there's this woman being beat up in the alley, and she helps her, and then this woman feels that, alright, it seems like you're very new to this world, I'm going to help you also. So she actually gives her first costume, I guess, to Donna, and gets these more modern looking clothing. So Donna's actually finding a connection with someone that is not toxic, so that's going to be exciting to see, and hopefully we'll see more of Donna that we've recognized with the pre-New 52. And I really hope they make some sort of photography reference. I would really like that. And one thing that reminded me of the, you know, her love for photography was that, you know, this girl took a selfie of Donna. So I'm really hoping they could, like, go that route. I hope. That'd be kind of a cool reference to Donna, and, like, a cool pre-New 52 reference of her, and combining her with this New 52 version. But with Wonder Woman, she has a really cool arc going on, too, because she gets stabbed by arrow by this, you know, the guy who wants to be the new God of War. And one of my favorite scenes was actually her just going to her apartment and being like, I am beat, and I want to sleep. And then, of course, Themyscira calling her back and saying, hey, we kind of need your help. She's like, alright, let's go. And then finding out more about this new person who wants to be the God of War. So it's interesting. I kind of love that groundedness, you know, of her going to her apartment and saying, hey, I just need to sleep. So I like that scene a lot. And like kind of showing that she is this normal person, but also the God of War and also Wonder Woman. So that was kind of a cool scene. So yeah, this is actually one of my favorite issues of the Fitch's run so far. I thought it really showed a good story for Donna, a good story for Wonder Woman, and I'm pretty much intrigued with this battle for God of War. And I'm really excited to see more of Donna and see where that story goes. So Wonder Woman issue 44 gets 4 stars, and that's number 5. Moving on to number 4. Now I think this is the first time the series has made top 5 also, and that is Black Canary, issue 4. A lot of DC in the top this week, which is good, because there hasn't been a lot of DC in the recent weeks. But, yeah, Black Canary, I was impressed with this one. I have been kind of on the fence with this book, because it's a really different version of Dinah, and this, like, punk rock type book, punk rock influenced book. But with this issue, we get to see the origin story of the villain that we've been following. The person who steals Ditto, and finds out why she steals Ditto. She wants the power of Dinah. You know, Dinah stole her role in a music video, and she's upset about it. And she saw Dinah use her powers, and she's like, I want that, because she always wants to be the best. She even names her band to show her father that she's the best. So she really loves to be supreme and good at everything. And that was a really interesting part of this issue. And then Dinah trying to look for Ditto, you know, throughout the issue, and a really cool cliffhanger of a new character introduced, which kind of looks like the White Canary of the New 52, we'll have to see, because of Legends Tomorrow coming out. Even though the White Canary of the pre-New 52 only had like 5 issues, but she's becoming a thing now. But yeah, we get to see this like assassin person that kind of looks like Dinah a little, and she says Ditto and gives Ditto to Dinah in the end of the issue. So I'm like wondering, who is this woman? And I thought that was a really cool cliffhanger, a good end to the issue. So yeah, this was a really well done issue. It explained the villain really well, that you're totally interested in her. The artwork, it fits the title, it fits the story of this punk rock thing going on. You know, disappointment is that Dinah's not in the issue that much, but it was okay, honestly, because the rest of the story was really well done. So I was pleasantly surprised by Black Canary. I'll give it 4 stars, and that is number 4. So now we're moving on to number 3, which is Superman Wonder Woman, issue 21. My favorite Superman book out right now. And what I liked about this issue is, first we get to see Wonder Woman is interrogating Lois Lane. And I love when Lois tells the truth. She says, why did I do these things? Because I'm a goddamn reporter. That's why I did these things. And it was kind of cool interaction between Wonder Woman and Lois. The one who is dating Clark now, and the one who's destined to hopefully be with Clark in the end. And what I loved about this arc in particular is that they utilized Superman's supporting characters really well. And I feel like the New 52's been missing that, is having the hero and the supporting character that made this hero. And obviously Superman has a really entertaining supporting cast. And they utilize them really well here. And I'm really excited for the next issue, because we're going to see Lana, Lois, and Wonder Woman team up, because this whole issue really was about trust. And, you know, that's great, because this arc is called Truth. And Clark realizes he can't trust either Wonder Woman or Lois, because Lois told his secret, and Wonder Woman lied to him about, well, not even lied, but just kind of deceived him about going there to try to help his friends, but not telling Clark. So Clark is like, well, I gotta figure things on my own. I'm gonna try to get my powers back, but you gotta, like, show that I can trust you again. So I really like that ending, and, you know, it's just a great theme throughout the whole arc. So now I think it's just going to be Wonder Woman and Lois kind of fighting for Clark's trust again, and them teaming up to do so. And that's going to be a really fun dynamic, and just adding Lana Lang into the mix. So yeah, this is a really good build-up issue, but it was also a really fun issue to kind of see the supporting cast come back together with the mix of Wonder Woman and this new Clark Kent. Only nitpick, I still don't really like Clark's new look, and it kind of affects the artwork a bit. But overall, it's a really good story, and I can't wait to read more of Superman and Wonder Woman. So I'll give Superman Wonder Woman issue 21 4 stars. Moving on to number 2, which is becoming one of my favorite new titles, The Beauty, issue 2. Damn, this series is good. Issue 1 was my pick of the week, and this is number 2 this week. Artwork is beautiful, and that is no pun intended. I love the deep colors. It just works so well. And this issue is kind of about exploring the characters a bit more, because now it's our main character, our main male detective, him discovering that his wife probably cheated on him, and just trying to deal with him having the beauty and what that means. Most people are just like, I'm beautiful, it's awesome. And the two detectives knowing that they're dying, and they kind of have to figure out not to have the beauty anymore. And they keep seeing cases of the beauty, because they're part of the beauty department of the police force. So now they kind of have to go behind their commander's back, the captain's back, and they realize that they're covering up stuff, that the beauties are blowing up because of the virus. And it's connected to business, that this person's trying to create a cure for it, but they can't say anything because there's not enough yet, and that will lead to even more crime because people are going to fight to survive. And now that they found out, they are going to want to kill the main characters. And our main male detective gets shot, and the woman detective's like, oh shit, what should we do? I love the issue. It was so well done. I will say this is a bit of a slower issue, but like I said, it really deepens the connection between the characters. I love the chemistry between the two detectives. It's not a romantic chemistry, which I really like, because, you know, with even TV shows, procedural shows, it's always the guy and the girl. They don't like each other at first, but then there's that romantic tension. Here it's just like these two good friends trying to, you know, trying to help each other, and they're partners, and they care for each other in that way because they are partners. So I like that. And there's not a lot of romantic tension, and it's him, you know, the male detective still loving his wife, even though she probably betrayed him. But, you know, it's not the worry of like, oh, she betrayed me, you know, I have to go, you know, I hate her. It's not that. It's like he actually wants to protect her at the same time. And I love the reasoning of why he didn't even notice she had the beauty, because he said, because I already thought she was the most beautiful she could be. So it just made you enjoy the characters even more. And again, the chemistry between the two detectives were great here. So yeah, I love this issue. It's so well done. The Beauty issue 2, it's a bit on the slower side. Issue 1 definitely had a bit more of a cliffhanger, a bit more story progression, but this has really good character progression. So I'm going to give the Beauty issue 2 4.5 stars. It's a really, really well done book. And pick this up if you haven't picked up the series, because like I said, it's really well done, and I'm glad I picked it up, and I'm picking up printed. So what is number 1? What beat out the Beauty? And that is Invincible, issue 123. So the indies won this week. But yeah, the Image indies especially. But yeah, Invincible this week was great because it shows what you love about Invincible, which was the character development. You see that Eve, she needs some time off. So she, you know, learns a bit more about the world that she's living in. And then Mark is able to have some quality time with Tara. And, you know, Eve is not like she was, where she's like, hey, Mark, you can't go, you can't try to find Battle Beast, you know, I hate when you leave. She's more understanding now. It's like, this is your job, go out and, you know, come back to her family. And Mark goes out, he's trying to find Battle Beast and, you know, connections to Battle Beast. He ends up going into this cave, and guess what? There's this big giant light, and we find out exactly why we're going to have a reboot. Because he goes back to the beginning, and it was really cool to see this page, because I've been reading Invincible for a really long time, so I've read the beginning of Invincible, and to see like how even the artwork has evolved of the series, and how Invincible himself has evolved. He's a father now, but this series has always been about family, and now it's just kind of a different type of family series. And it's cool because, you know, one of my favorite type of stories, and one of my favorite things about stories, is character development. So to see a character develop so much, and then be able to see their past, and kind of relive the past, is some of the most fun stories. So this is not a reboot, but it's going back to the crust of what Invincible was, and then Mark having these experiences, knowing he's not in the right place, but then experiencing things he's already experienced, and shown how much he's changed. And I guess, you know, seeing Robot, and nobody's like, oh god, you're gonna, you know, destroy the world. And Adam Eve dated Robot at that time, so that'll be very interesting too. But yeah, it was a great cliffhanger. It made me less worried about this reboot, and actually really excited about it. So it had a great cliffhanger, which Invincible tends to do, the great twists and turns, but at the same time had a really good character development, like always with Invincible. So Invincible 123 is my pick of the week, and I give that 4.5 stars. So if you guys enjoyed, this is Comic Unknown Comic Frontline, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter, don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links from my comic book, Like Father Like Daughter, and don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. And let me know in the comments below what was your worst pick of the week, your best pick of the week, and everything in between. And of course, I'll have another Comic You Know episode next week. See you guys.